The year is 2011. The Libyan desert crackles with tension as a British military helicopter touches down at a remote location. On board are not just standard soldiers, but members of the UK's most secretive special forces unit, Squadron. Their mission, a top-secret rendezvous with rebel leaders fighting to overthrow the ruthless dictator, Muammar Gaddafi. But the operation goes disastrously wrong. Locals, unaware of the clandestine meeting, spot the soldiers and panic. Rumors of pro-Gaddafi forces run rampant. The Squadron operatives are detained, their identities compromised, their existence suddenly thrust into the spotlight. A tense flurry of international diplomacy ensues. Behind closed doors, frantic negotiations take place to secure the release of these highly specialized operatives. Finally, they're freed, but the damage is done. Squadron's veil of secrecy has been pierced. But who are these shadowy figures, and what other dangerous missions have they undertaken in the name of national security? In the crucible of World War II, a new era of warfare was forged. The British, renowned for their strategic brilliance, pioneered the concept of modern special operations forces. Units like the Special Air Service and Special Boat Service were born, their daring exploits becoming the stuff of legend. These elite commandos mastered the art of unconventional warfare, sabotage, lightning-fast raids, and covert operations behind enemy lines. As the decades passed, Britain's special forces continued to set the standard. Their tactics and procedures were adopted by countries around the globe, including the United States. American units like Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 were shaped in the image of their British predecessors, and a close bond formed between these elite forces. They often trained together, even exchanging operators to foster deeper cooperation. Yet the landscape of conflict is always shifting. The wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria presented new challenges, prompting the British Ministry of Defense to modernize its special forces. Ironically, they looked to the US for inspiration, drawing lessons from the evolution of American elite forces over the past few decades. In this ongoing quest for tactical superiority, the teacher, in some ways, has become the student. However, there are times when the murky world of espionage demands the specialized skills of a commando. This is where Squadron enters the equation. Born from the proud tradition of British Special Forces, Squadron operates on a completely different level. They recruit from the absolute best of the SAS, the SBS, and the shadowy Special Reconnaissance Regiment, specialists in intelligence gathering. But unlike their Special Forces counterparts, Squadron takes orders directly from Britain's intelligence agencies. Think of MI6, the nation's equivalent of the CIA, a clandestine service steeped in foreign intelligence gathering and covert action. When MI6 needs the precision, the ruthlessness, and the sheer firepower of elite soldiers to support their operations, they call upon Squadron. Membership in Squadron is reserved for the absolute best. These operatives are handpicked from the ranks of the UK Special Forces, seasoned veterans of the SAS and SBS. To even be considered, they must have served their country with distinction for at least 5 years, proving their exceptional skill and unwavering loyalty. Those who make the cut are then rigorously vetted by MI6, their background scrutinized to ensure utmost security. Once inducted into Squadron, these elite operatives undergo an intensive training regimen. They become masters of sabotage, learning to exploit weaknesses and strike with devastating precision. Surveillance becomes second nature as they refine the art of blending into the background, observing unseen. Squadron operatives are experts in close quarters combat and VIP protection, ready to defend those they're sworn to shield. But their skills go beyond the physical. Clandestine infiltration is their specialty. Imagine them perfecting the art of high-altitude parachuting from civilian aircraft or practicing covert landings from submarines. They're ready to appear and disappear without a trace. So what kind of missions does Squadron undertake? The truth is cloaked in layers of secrecy. There are whispers of dangerous arrests of war criminals in the Balkans, even rumors of targeted assassinations, but the official records remain sealed. The true value of Squadron lies in their adaptability. They're trained for the widest range of scenarios, armed with a unique blend of military expertise and intelligence tradecraft. And perhaps most importantly, Squadron operatives are masters of disguise. They operate in plain clothes, their true identities concealed behind a maze of false documents and personas. This allows them to move within hostile territories, becoming ghosts when necessary. Their work even extends to supporting MI6 officers in extraction and undercover operations. While we picture MI6 agents as the epitome of suave sophistication, sometimes even the best laid plans go awry. That's when Squadron steps in, providing the muscle and tactical expertise required for a daring rescue. Squadron's missions read like scenes from a thriller novel, blurring the lines between soldier and spy. They've ventured into Afghanistan's treacherous Hindu Kush mountains, accompanying MI6 agents on clandestine meetings with anti-Taliban fighters. Their presence was pivotal during the 2011 Libyan uprising, where they supported the toppling of Gaddafi's brutal dictatorship. But one operation stands out as a stark reminder of the dangers they face. In 2011, a team of 6 E Squadron operatives and their MI6 counterparts embarked from a secret base in Malta. Their destination was a remote rendezvous point deep within the Libyan desert. A specially modified Chinook helicopter, equipped with long-range fuel tanks and signal jamming technology, ferried them across the dark waters of the Mediterranean. The mission was deceptively simple: secure partnership with the key faction of the rebel forces. E Squadron carried sophisticated communications gear, ready to establish a lifeline between the rebels and British officials. Yet from the start, things went sideways. Their helicopter landing was spotted by locals, unaware of the covert meeting. Fear gripped them. Were these soldiers loyal to Gaddafi? Within moments, E Squadron found themselves surrounded and facing capture. A tense standoff ensued. Outnumbered and in hostile territory, the E Squadron operatives were armed to the teeth, but opening fire would jeopardize the alliance MI6 sought to forge. Diplomacy was their only weapon now. They chose to be taken prisoner and held hostage in the rebel stronghold of Benghazi. It took a whirlwind of high-level diplomacy to ultimately secure their release. Years earlier, E Squadron was rumored to have seen action amidst the chaos leading up to the 2003 Iraq War. A former member speaks of missions shrouded in secrecy, hinting at the grim realities of their profession. Rules of engagement exist, yes, but a soldier's duty sometimes demands the taking of a life. In 2009, there were reports of their deployment to the Sahara Desert in a desperate attempt to rescue a British citizen held hostage by Al-Qaeda. Sadly, they never received the green light to launch a rescue operation, and the hostage was tragically killed. The darkest rumors surrounding E Squadron involve whispers of targeted assassinations. The most notorious claim connects the tragic death of Princess Diana to MI6. Her 1997 car crash, a former officer claims, bears a chilling resemblance to a proposed operation against Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic, a plan involving blinding his driver with a strobe light. MI6 categorically denies involvement in Diana's death, yet they admit the existence of a different plot, hastily abandoned, against another Balkan target. These are just examples, brief snapshots hinting at a much wider scope of operations. E Squadron's expertise is likely in high demand across the global stage. E Squadron exists within multiple layers of secrecy, making any breach all the more devastating. In 2021, a careless slip-up sent shockwaves through the intelligence community. An email meant only for select eyes leaked the names of E Squadron members alongside other Special Forces personnel. This wasn't just a simple data spill, this was a potential catastrophe. Imagine the fallout: ongoing missions abruptly compromised, their covert nature exposed to hostile forces. Operatives in the field, their identities now compromised, face a heightened risk of capture or targeted attacks. The full consequences of the security breach remain unclear, but the potential for disaster is painfully obvious. This single email, this one careless mistake, has put lives at risk and cast a shadow over Britain's most sensitive operations. Though MI6 routinely denies arming its officers or conducting covert military operations, history tells a different story. The accounts of former employees, particularly those who cross paths with E Squadron, reveal a clandestine world where the lines between soldier and spy become blurred. E Squadron is the UK's ultimate trump card, a hidden force deployed when diplomacy fails and warfare becomes too risky. Their very existence is a closely guarded secret, but their impact is undeniable. Do you think they're necessary to protect our interests? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this dive into the world of E Squadron fascinating, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next exploration. It's going to be epic.